He jumped over a 7'2" human being. Not around him, not past him, over him. Legs spread, ball above his head. The man underneath said afterward, and I'm not making this up, "I learned people can fly."
Legs back into the good field. 61-56. Jackson bounce back.
Oh yeah, dunks at home. Carter
right back. Carter wants the lob. Hey! Going after the basketball tonight. Carter baseline hard.
That was September 2000. 5 months later, Vince Carter averaged 27.6 points per game, led Toronto to their first playoff series win in franchise history, scored 50 points in a single playoff game, set the NBA record for three-pointers in a single playoff game, and then averaged 30.4 points across a 7-game war with Allen Iverson that most people consider one of the greatest series ever played. And almost nobody talks about any of it because of one shot, 2 seconds, a ball that hit the rim instead of going through it. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what was buried by that miss and why 2001 Vince Carter was not human.
After he inbounds, Curry has it. Carter trying to get free. Carter at the buzzer. No good. And the Sixers hold on and advance to the conference finals.
Here's the thing about 2001 Vince Carter that gets lost every time someone tells this story. They always start with the miss. They frame the entire season around the final 2 seconds of Game 7, and everything before it becomes prologue to a failure that wasn't even really a failure. It was a mid-range jumper that came off the rim by inches, in a game his team had no business being in, against the best team in the Eastern Conference. So let's start somewhere else. Let's start with what Toronto was before Vince Carter arrived, and what it became because of him. The Toronto Raptors were 6 years old in 2001. They had never won a playoff series. The city had a hockey team that had existed since 1917. Basketball was a tenant in someone else's building. And then a 23-year-old from Daytona Beach showed up and made them forget about the Maple Leafs entirely. He averaged 27.6 points per game that season, career high, 4th in the entire NBA. He led the league in made three-pointers. The Raptors won 47 games, a franchise record, and they did it without a single other all-star caliber player in the starting five. This was a one-man show, and the one man was doing things nobody had ever seen. Before the 2001 season, you need to understand what kind of player Toronto had. And to understand that, you need to go back to February 2000, when Vince Carter did two things in the same weekend that announced him to the world in a way that nobody had announced before or since. Saturday night, the slam dunk contest. Carter walked out and put on a performance that people still argue, 25 years later, is the greatest in the contest's history.
That no one has ever seen. All right, here is Vince Carter with his first shot.
Let's go home! Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen!
Incredible. Unbelievable. I think he was probably the best dunker to ever dunk in a dunk contest.
Oh, it was just ridiculous. I mean, he's one of the greatest dunkers, if not the greatest dunker of all time. Some of the dunks that he was doing was pretty unbelievable.
Then Sunday, he played in his first All-Star game, scored 24 points, and 7 months later, at the Sydney Olympics, he did something that has no precedent in the history of the sport. September 25th, 2000, Team USA vs. France. A routine blowout game. Gary Payton missed a layup. France grabbed the rebound. Carter stole the outlet pass. He took 2 dribbles, and then he saw Frederick Weiss, 7 feet 2 inches tall, standing between him and the basket. Carter didn't slow down. He didn't pull up. He didn't look for a teammate. He jumped. And what happened next, the French media would later name, quote, Le dunk de la mort, the dunk of death. Carter said afterward he didn't even realize what he'd done until his teammates told him. He was just running the floor, basketball instinct. Frederick Weiss, who had been drafted by the New York Knicks in the first round of the 1999 draft, never played a single NBA game. Carter dunked over him. He never recovered. Coming into the 2001 season, Carter had lost his running mate, Tracy McGrady. His cousin and the player who made Toronto's offense genuinely dangerous left for the Orlando Magic in free agency. Carter was the franchise, alone, in his 3rd NBA season. And what he did with that freedom was produce the best season of his career. But here's the part that the highlight packages never show you. This wasn't just a scorer putting up numbers on a bad team. This was a player making an entire city believe in something it had never believed in before. He led the league in three-pointers made. He averaged 5.5 rebounds and 3 assists on top of the 27.6 points. He was being double-teamed every night. Every team in the league knew the ball was going to him and designed their entire defense around stopping him. And he was averaging 27.6 anyway.
Attempts in this quarter, they were 4 for 18 in the second quarter. Carter by Harris. And that pull-up and fade away. Oh, my.
And, Matty, I was going to say, you got to force it to the middle.
Toronto replacing Curry. Carter looking for his first points of the night and gets them. That was too easy. Martin here in the first. Carter with the fadeaway.
See, now I know he can make that.
The Raptors won 47 games, their best record in franchise history. They beat the New York Knicks in the first round, the first playoff series win in the franchise's 6-year existence. And then they drew Philadelphia. Allen Iverson, the MVP, the most dangerous player in the Eastern Conference. A 7-game series that nobody who watched it has ever forgotten.
Iverson getting the pick from Mutombo. Iverson has come out firing.
They have changed the roster, the most important thing.
He had his problems in the past against the Knicks and came on with breakout games. Iverson.
Game 1, Philadelphia. Carter scores 42 points. The Raptors win, on the road, against the MVP's team. Nobody expected it. Game 2, Allen Iverson scores 54 points. The Sixers win.
Rebounds, and he's doing the same, a little shy on the board.
At the Air Canada Center, Childs driving in, sees Mutombo, pulls back and hits.
Plays 3 positions and can defend off with his position. Beautiful.
They tied the series. Game 3 came to Toronto, and Carter answered. Game 3, Toronto. Carter scores 50 points, hits 9 three-pointers, an NBA playoff record that stood for years. The Raptors win 102-78. It was one of the greatest individual playoff performances in NBA history. Carter said afterward, quote, "Going against Iverson brought the best out of me."
Give us double figures, we'll be okay.
Carter hit the 3, so that may be a signal of what's to come. Vince Carter,
And that's almost unheard of when you take 27 shots.
and scored 28. But Carter with the first 5, and here on the drive, Carter. So he is at least trying to get inside. And Giles staying in the game with 2 fouls, missing the shot. Hill fighting, Carter winning and getting the basket. Carter. And Carter firing over the key, hits 3 to Vince Carter. So he, so far, has had an answer for the answer.
Back and forth. Iverson 52 in Game 5. The Sixers take a 3-2 lead. Carter 39 in Game 6. Forces Game 7. 2 players operating at the absolute maximum of what basketball can look like. The entire series decided by whoever had the ball last. And then Game 7 came. And the morning of Game 7 is where this story gets complicated. May 20th, 2001. Game 7. The biggest game in Toronto Raptors history. And Vince Carter woke up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Carter had been working toward his degree for years. His family were educators. That mattered to him, deeply, genuinely, not as a PR move. He said at the time, quote, "When basketball is over, I still got this. I come from a family of educators. All of my family are teachers." Raptors owner Larry Tannenbaum had a private jet waiting. Carter walked across the stage at Chapel Hill, collected his diploma, got back on the plane, and flew to Philadelphia in time for the team's walkthrough. The media treated it as a controversy, a distraction, a sign of misplaced priorities. Carter's response, then and now, he would do it again. He had a wretched Game 7, 6 for 18 from the field, 20 points. The jet lag, the travel, the weight of the morning, it showed. The Sixers suffocated him. And with 55 seconds left, the Raptors were down 1. Del Curry hits a 3, 88-87 Philadelphia, 1-point game.
By Alvin Williams. Ball knocked loose. Carter tripped up. Crowd wanted to travel. Curry for 3. Bang! Curry from downtown. And it's a 1-point game.
Now, Bill, you want a child?
55 seconds left. Iverson misses. Eric Snow misses. The Sixers foul. Timeout. 2 seconds on the clock. Ball to Carter. The entire basketball world pauses. The Sixers coach Larry Brown said afterward, quote, "Anytime Vince shot the ball, I thought it was going in." The coach coaching against him. The coach who won. That's the respect Carter commanded, even in his worst game of the year. Del Curry inbounds. Carter catches. 1 dribble. Steps into a mid-range fall-away. The ball goes up. 88-87. Series over. Sixers advance. Carter stands on the court in Philadelphia. The man who graduated in the morning, who had 50 points 6 days earlier, who had carried a franchise that had never won anything to the second round of the playoffs, and has to process the worst professional moment of his life on the best personal day of his year. Here is the record, not the memory, not the narrative, the record. None of that changed because the ball hit the rim. The 50-point game is in the record books. The 9 three-pointers are in the record books. The franchise's first series win is in the record books. A 23-year-old putting a city that had never believed in basketball on his back and carrying it to the second round against the MVP, that happened. The shot missed, the season didn't. The Sixers went on to the NBA Finals. They lost to the Lakers in 5 games. If Carter makes that shot, if the ball goes through instead of off the rim by inches, Toronto plays Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals. Milwaukee, who had Ray Allen and Sam Cassell, but not the defensive depth of the Sixers. The Raptors are a real threat to go to the finals, and the story of 2001 Vince Carter is permanently different. But here is the honest truth about what actually happened to his legacy. A miss at the buzzer is the loudest thing that can happen in sport. It silences everything that came before it. The graduation story gave the media a controversy that had nothing to do with basketball. The miss gave him an ending. And once a story has a clean, painful ending, everything that came before it gets filed under context. And context doesn't get anniversaries. Context gets forgotten. 2001 Vince Carter was not human. He jumped over a 7'2" man at the Olympics. He put on the greatest dunk contest performance the sport has ever seen. He averaged 27.6 points per game and turned a hockey city into a basketball city alone. At 23, in his 3rd season, he scored 50 points in a playoff game and set the 3-point record. He averaged 30 points across 7 games against the MVP. He graduated in the morning, and he missed by inches that night. The season is in the record books. The miss was 2 seconds. It's time the other 81 games got their story told. Subscribe. The next forgotten season is already coming.